Alright, much ado about nothing. Mono red devotion in modern, and alright. That's what the hands look like with this deck. Lots of expensive stuff that we never cast unless we get a Nykthos. But it could work out if we draw lands. We have a Leyline. I don't know about this deck. Like, we've won some games here and there, but it's so maddeningly inconsistent that it really drives me crazy. Like, Leylines are horrible without Nykthos. Also, they are horrible if they're not in your opening hand. So we're playing so many cards that are just only good in the nut draw scenario. So that's my problem with this deck. Like, the idea is cute, but I don't know if it's necessarily a good way of building a deck. So, like, this hand, we're like a 22 land deck, and we have a bunch of 5-drops. And the other thing is, Leylines aren't even necessarily good without multiples of them, even with Nykthos. There's just so many things that are awkward about this deck. Dragon Lord. And Spell Snare. Pass the turn. So if you ever get to demigods, things are sweet. But like in this scenario, even if we draw a Nykthos, which theoretically is one of the best cards in our deck, we still can't cast Boros Reckoner or anything. So I don't know. There is some awkwardness. That much is sure. Opponent passes. We get a mountain. We Boros Reckoner, which gets remanded? I mean, we're slowly building towards demigod. And Mana Leak, alright. Interesting. More counters than I expected. Or different ones, at least. I was expecting remand. Another Certain Visions for our opponent. Watery Grave. Tapped. Mountain. A pretty sad Fanatic of Mogus. There's the remand. Alright, pass the turn. Scalding Tarn for our opponent. The only good news is our opponent really isn't making any progress. They're just tempoing us. Cracks Scalding Tarn. Gets a tap land. Serum Visions. And they're also running out of Serum Visions, thank God. Bottom and top. Leave one on top. Oh, Mountain. And Demigod. It's a pretty good threat if it resolves. Out of Lightning Bolt range. Ooh, alright. So I'm not sure how our opponent actually deals with that, unless they have black removal. Down to 11. Also pumps up our Fanatic of Mogus quite a bit. What is this? Oh, Kolaghan's Command. Gets back Delver. We discard a Fanatic of Mogus. Plays land, plays the Delver. They still have to beat our demigods. Demigod number 2. And opponent has a Mana Leak. But that doesn't really work. Because they countered it before the trigger. They needed to let the return trigger resolve first. Oh, so put a trigger on the stack saying return all cards named Demigod from your graveyard to the battlefield. And our opponent countered before they let that trigger resolve. Which means it got back itself, essentially. Demigod got back itself with its trigger. That doesn't happen very often. Sideboard, Needles, Spellskite is probably okay. And then maybe Blood Moons? I don't know how good Blood Moon is. Yeah, let's just go down a Chancellor for a Spellskite. Try it like that. Alright. A little awkward. If this Nykthos was another mountain, it would be really sweet. Because then we would be all set to start making mana. As it is, we still kind of need... There we go. That's another mountain. So pass the turn. Now we have 4 mana on turn 3. So this is kind of the deck's dream scenario. Although we don't really have a payoff right now. Definitely gets around mana leaks pretty well. Potentially. That's a Demigod. Alright, pass the turn. Opponent cracks Polluted Delta. Gets an island. And Thought Scours themselves. And our opponent is fetching out basics, so they're aware of the potential of Blood Moon, even though we didn't bring them in. So probably wise not to bring in Blood Moon. Because our opponent's playing around it anyway. Opponent passes. Yeah, let's just Nykthos and Boros Reckoner. And ping our opponent for 1 with Leyline. There's Mana Leak. I guess if we cast enough spells, we can just ping our opponent to death. Opponent cracks Scalding Tarn. So we just pretty much want to draw big things from here on out. There's a Tasigur. And Watery Grave tapped. Another Leyline of Lightning. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's think about this. Let's just play a mountain. Leyline of Lightning, trigger Leyline of Lightning, ping our opponent. If they want to counter Leyline of Lightning, that's fine. If not, then even if they're countering our stuff, we have shocks for any spell we play, essentially. We can pay 2 to do 2 to our opponent. So not a shock, but we're going to ping our opponent down pretty quick. And next turn, I think we make enough mana that we can Demigod and then recast it if we need to. Ooh. What is this? Oh, Grimmack Angler. Alright. This is going to be close. So we take 4. Ooh, Chancellor. Alright, so let's see. Red. 6. 7. So let's make 7. Demigod. This is going to be a pretty good turn. Again, it's a bunch of triggers that we're not going to take advantage of. No. No. So Demigod, then we play Nykthos, Legend Rule our Nykthos, add a ton of mana, 11, which means we get to Chancellor, ping our opponent twice. Yes. Down to 12, down to 11. Get a couple goblins. Let's, do we just want to bolt our opponent? Let's not. So then go to attacks, get in with our Demigod. Now we have chump blockers left over. So I'm feeling pretty good about this. Probes, sees our lightning bolt, which is actually worth 5 damage with the double ley lines. Probes again. Do they even have an answer they can find? They can't gain life. Damage can't be prevented. I imagine they'd have a hard time killing Demigod. Unless they have, like, I guess Terminate does it. Scalding Tarn. If they crack Scalding Tarn, they're dead to Bolt. Plus Leyline. passes. Let's see what we draw. Mountain. Alright, so let's just attack with Demigod. Actually, let's attack with everything. Swing with everything, and then plan on bolting to finish out the game. Blocks. Blocks. Do they have a terminate? They do. But they drop to 5, which means we Nykthos. Yeah, you might as well play the mountain. Bolt our opponent. Leyline, Leyline, and that should do it. 1 mana, Lightning Axe. Lava Axe. Sweet! Oh, very good, very good, very good.